Uh,
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Roshan, and today my guest is Girish. We've had two previous conversations before, one on how do you keep the motivation levels high, but also how do you keep the beginner's motivation. And following a few requests we've had, especially that were made to Girish, so this third conversation, this third encounter will be on anger management. Anger management, Girish, it concerns many topics. Anger management has to do with stress, frustration, high expectations. It could be anything. It could be different for everyone. The trigger for anger also can lead to people think differently and also act and react differently. So Girish, you got a list of topics, and then we decided to have the anger management, right?
Yeah. We've got a list.
I just want you to share with our viewers how that worked out. So people sent you, or how it was?
Yeah, we've got different requests from different people, and on various different topics. And we actually ended up choosing this one because it's quite personal to the two of us, isn't it?
It is.
So I kind of chose it, but I didn't tell you I chose it, and I gave you the list, and you picked it too. Then I said, okay, that's a good one. So that's how we chose it. And the funny thing is, the person who sent it also wanted us to actually discuss anger too, because it was made from, the request was sent from a person who proposed a few topics, but the person wanted this one to be discussed first. So I think it worked out quite nicely that we are discussing it because it's quite relevant to the three of us. The only one thing I would like to mention before we actually start discussing it is that we won't be looking at it from a clinical point of view, let's say. So we won't be looking at anger for someone who suffers from ADHD or OCD, something like that.
Yeah,
we will be looking at it from a very practical point of view because we are not doctors or psychologists.
Of course. But it doesn't prevent us from trying to observe what are the causes and triggers so that we might also understand it. Because it's not only doctors who understand it, right? We're also responsible for our bodies and emotions.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not a medical condition. It's a symptom.
It's a symptom. So please, let's start. Let's get into it. So define what's anger and anger management. Define what's anger. One at a time.
Okay. There are so many different ways of describing it. If you want us to discuss it from a Buddhist point of view, we can start with that. So from a Buddhist point of view, from a Zen point of view, it's the first cause of suffering. I think we've discussed that before. The first cause of suffering is the frustration or anger or anxiety we experience when we don't get what we want. Right? So that's how the Buddhist people view it. So there is reality as we experience right now. And then there is the reality we want to experience. So there's a mismatch between how we want things to be and how things are. And that's suffering.
That's the gap between imagination and reality.
Exactly. That's the first cause of suffering in Buddhism. So you want things to be like that, you want things to be there, and you are here. And you become unhappy with your current situation. And this causes the anxiety, the frustration, the anger, because you're fighting with your current state. So the whole philosophy of Zen or Buddhism is on acceptance, basically. So you accept where you are. But the funny thing is when I tell that to people, it triggers something. Oh, you can't accept how things are, because then you won't be moving ahead. But the way it is explained in Buddhism is very profound and different. So you accept the way things are totally. And then after you've accepted, then you do the small changes to make things better. For example, let's say you're sick, you've got fever. maybe your first reaction would be, oh, why did I fall sick? I could have done this, I could have done that. So you're fighting so the reality is like this, you're sick, you're making it worse, right? You're fighting it, you're not accepting it. But if you accept you're sick, you take your medication and you try to do as much as you can with the current state, it's actually much better than actually not accepting it, isn't it? So that's
what you mean is, instead of telling yourself that, why did I fall sick, or I could have done this, or why did I not do something else? It's probably just say, okay, I am sick. I will take the meds that I need. I will have the rest and eat the food that I need. And yes, I will be better.
That's it. That's Buddhism. You got everything. We don't need to read books.
Come on, man. Because I'm thinking, because during our last conversation, we brushed a bit this topic, but it comes again. It's about all accepting the reality, right? So what I was thinking of, let's talk about anger management today. What I was thinking is, there's a lot of anger in society, not society causing you anger, but yourself. You have, I don't think people are angry. It's situations or perceptions that make them angry. Jealousy makes you angry. Not having something makes you angry. Failing a test paper makes you angry. A friend backstabbing you makes you angry. A girlfriend breaking up with you will make you sad, but at some levels will make you angry. So there are many.
I think there's a lot of anger actually there.
So even the way you were brought up, people will have anger towards their parents. Parents have anger towards their children. So it's at all levels. So what I'm trying to say is, in the society that we live, there's always an excuse for anger.
I think so, yeah. And with everything you've told me, there's one thing that comes to my mind.
Okay.
So, sorry, we've been talking at the same time.
Yeah.
In every single thing you told me, there's one thing that comes to my mind, and that's expectation.
Okay.
Why do we get angry? We expect things to be in a certain way, and they are not.
Okay, yeah.
Or you have high expectations from you, like the example of someone not doing well in a test. You have high expectations from you, and you couldn't do it. But
did you do enough effort to pass the test? That's the question.
I think it's different from people to people. That's the other thing.
I think there is a disconnect between people getting angry with not getting or achieving something, but it's also important to do the minimum effort to get there. There are many things sometimes I want to do and I don't do it, but then I don't feel bad. I think I could do it. If I wanted, I would have done it. But if it did not happen, I cannot feel bad for that not happening. So it brings me to the first discussion of how keeping motivation levels. Sometimes I tell myself, not everything that you start you have to finish, but the things that you like, you will finish it. But sometimes this also creates anger when you're not, you can do it and you don't do it. It's at all levels, whether it's an emotional thing, whether it's for an exam, or whether it's for a business, whether it's for a relationship. Because it comes down to putting down the required effort.
I think so. And maybe we are not setting realistic targets. If you set too many targets, you won't be able to achieve them. And maybe that's something else. Maybe we think we need to have a lot to be happy. And that's probably something imposed from society or things we watch on the screen, on media, that we need to have a lot. We need to have that big car. We need to have so many friends. I'll just go back to conversation I was having with my 7-year-old. And he told me something like he wants to have many friends. Then I asked him, but why do you want to have many friends? Then he said something like, if you have many friends, you're popular, you're going to be happy. Now, I don't know where he gets that from, probably from school, from talking to his friends and all that. But the same kind of thought, I think adults also have that.
Okay.
You need to have a mass following. You need to be liked by many people. And maybe you need to achieve many things. I know so many people who think that they are at this age now, they were not able to achieve as many things as they should have achieved because they're comparing themselves to their cousins or to their close ones, to their relatives. But
Okay.
each person has his or her own path, isn't it? And it's something imposed on us. We need to have many things. I don't think we need to.
So how do you that's the question. So how do you find a fine line? Because it's very hard for you to draw a line. Is you will tend to compare yourself with others, right? And sometimes when you don't get what you want or what you think you deserve, it creates anger. Anger causes stress. Stress causes you to be sick.
Mm. But I
So
think
how does that
the
work
cause
out?
of what makes you think that you deserve X or you deserve Y? I mean, do people really feel insecure or incomplete that they think that they need this so that they can be happy? I think the whole point is being happy with what you've got right now. And when you are happy with how you are, that's when you start to get the momentum to actually do things which make you get more. I don't know whether that makes sense, but that's how it worked
So
out
you're
for me.
lowering your expectations.
I don't think so. I don't think it's lowering your
It's not
expectation.
lowering, but it's just setting more realistic targets or expectations.
Yeah, it's actually being happy with what you've got. When I look at my own life, the trigger or the breakpoint, let's say, happened when I actually started appreciating the things I have in my life more. I started loving my job a bit more without really expecting things to happen. I just got an arousal of the feel-good factor, let's say, in doing my work and in meeting people. I was just happy with whatever was laid out to me. And then suddenly something happened. My son was born. I got promoted at work, and I don't know. I started giving the courses I'm giving right now, and things just clicked. But I was not aiming towards. I wasn't aiming those things. Those things just happened.
Because you started doing it better because you were more passionate about it. So you reduced your level of frustration and anger and say, you know what, it is what it is. Let me put my head down and just do it and do it well, of course.
This is what happened. And you know, I keep saying something. I don't know whether it will make sense to you. I hardly react. You know, people need sometimes, they need that time to process emotions.
Mm.
I needed that time maybe for my first heartbreak, where it took like 3 to 4 years to get over it completely, let's say. But now I hardly react. So let's say one day someone tells something bad to me, I'll say, okay, and I'll move on. I'll actually go home and do work. It doesn't affect me that much. And that actually enables me to go really fast in whatever I want to do.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you is, I find this very often in Mauritius. Very often you have hiccups between friends that causes anger. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of, I'm not saying a lot of, there is backstabbing also, but I'm not saying there's only that. There's a lot of good things happening also.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you would ask yourself, what did you do wrong? Where you went wrong? And you're angry if you lose the friend or you lose the friendship. And either way, whether you beat yourself up for a mistake, whether you did it or it was done to you. This is how do you handle these situations?
I usually focus on
not only friends, but someone very close to you. And the relationship goes south and it causes you to be sad, but it causes you a lot of anger also. Yeah. Because it keeps on replaying in your mind. It keeps something in your mind and you become angry. And of course, it causes you to be stressed and you're not focused in the moment when you have to do something else.
True. And I feel that with people like the two of us, go through that more. because I think when we get to know people, we get to know them quite closely. And when things don't work out, we get affected more. I don't know whether you feel the same way or not.
Well,
but for me,
definitely.
it's like that.
I'm quite emotional person.
Yeah, me too. And usually when things don't work out, I feel very bad actually.
Yeah.
Feel very bad. But then I just go to one thing the whole time. I look at it very objectively, so I can actually shield from the moment, look at it from an external point of view, and really check, okay, what was my intent in the relationship, let's say? Did I really do something with a bad intent?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer is no, then I'm fine with it. I make peace with it.
Okay.
Then
And you let
if
go?
the person, actually, I'm very good at that, Roshan.
No, but did you let go? Do you fight for the friend again and tell him, you know what, I think you're taking a wrong decision?
I
Because
don't.
you
You know
can't
what I
change the other
do?
person's point of view, right? So you'll end up hurting yourself.
I'll tell you what I do. The way it works with me is actually can feel it. I can actually feel it when the person doesn't need me. So once I feel it, I just tell the person that, I tell the person that, okay, if you ever need me, I will be here for you. And then I can actually take that back step and let go completely.
Okay, it goes all the way to that point where you tell the person, you know what, I feel you're not in touch with me anymore, and if you need me, I'll still be here. So I'm taking a step back.
Yeah.
But don't you tell the person, hey, don't you want to know why the person has taken a step back? What was the reason for it?
You know, things change. If you look at people, people are constantly changing, right? Do one exercise today, Roshan. Try to look at your inner circle the last 10 years, okay? And you'll be surprised how it changed every 3 years. You don't have the same people in your inner circle. And it's something normal. You change, I will change. Possibly in 5 years, maybe we won't be talking to each other. I don't know. It can happen. Maybe it won't happen. But things are constantly moving. So when I look at it from a very objective point of view, I don't feel bad about it. Maybe they don't need me. Maybe they need me. And, you know, it's like that. And if you really...
the relationship has run its course, so I'm okay with that.
Sometimes, you know, in a relationship, people need to grow. Okay, there's something which
nobody likes change, right? You want to know where you went wrong, because let's say for a friend, that friend decided, okay, he'll stop being in touch with me. But I will, you know, from something that goes very strong to, that's a personal story, yeah, and to not being in touch. So you put yourself in question, and maybe I will tell myself the person needs space, all right? But you will also want to know what caused the person to take a step back or a couple of steps back. Did I do something wrong? But then you never get the answer. So it feels like you're beating yourself down for no reason.
Yeah, you can ask that. I mean, if you ask the question, and if the friendship was really that intense, the person should be able to give you an answer openly, isn't it? If the person can't give you an answer openly,
tells you I'm always busy.
But then the person is hiding. Then is it really worth it when you think about it?
No, then the moving on process started some time ago. So you tell yourself, you know what? If it was meant to, they would find time. Being busy is not an excuse. Being busy is never an excuse.
It's an excuse.
Probably I shouldn't be too. It's good to reassess and put yourself in the spotlight and try to evaluate what happened.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you don't need to do that. You just let go.
When someone is really important, you're going to find time. Look at us yesterday. Was it yesterday? We called each other, I think, around 7 to 8 times.
Yeah, right? We played hide and seek, shit.
And then we talked at 9:30 p.m. or 10, I can't remember, but it was quite late. But it's important for us to talk. We don't want to let each other down, right? So we found the time, and I had a crazy day. I started 8 a.m. till I think 5:30ish. I was just in meetings, and we found the time. We could say, it's an excuse. Yeah, I was busy. It takes a few seconds to send a text. So if someone is not
someone will find the time for you.
Exactly, you find the time.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
So it always goes back to the intent once again, like I told you.
It goes to the intent. Another cause of anger management is career-wise. People feel very frustrated that they deserve more. So how do you, again, it's the gap between expectations and reality. How do you reduce this gap? What is your secret to it?
That's a very good one. If I look at, the way I look at it personally, I'm just,
because you just mentioned that at work, when you started having more passion for your work, then things just started happening. But it's also very easy to complain. It's also very easy to say, you know what, I deserve this, I deserve that. People are doing less work than me. Oh, I'm better connected. I need more. I deserve more money because I'm never absent. But this also causes anger, and sometimes people take take these frustrations from work and bring it back home.
They do, and then you have other issues
that come around.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I do is I don't blame. I don't play the blame game. I mean, if we
when is it that you have to stop and pull the plug, or probably change where you're working rather than just being all positive and all accepting? But at the end of the day, you would stay where you are, right? So if you want to change and move out of it, you also have to do the effort.
True. I think we need to look at it objectively. There are a lot of people who blame the whole day. They will go at work, they will say, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. And right now you can say the government is not functioning well, the rupee is getting depreciated. There are so many things not working out well. There's so much violence.
These are special situations and conditions.
Yeah, I mean, you can blame, but there are also so many things you can do to improve your own environment. So instead of blaming, if you focus, I mean, it's as if you've got a phone, you charge it, and then how are you going to use that battery now on it?
So instead of using the energy to complain, use the energy
to make things
you have used to complain to do something more concrete.
Exactly. I mean, that's the only thing I've changed.
And you would be using down your energy so that you have less energy and time to complain, and have less time for anger and less time for stress, because you would be diverting the energy.
Exactly. Like I was saying, I hardly have time to process, let's say, failure when I try something new and it doesn't work out, because I've got so many things happening.
Okay.
So I'm always
if one or two things do not work out. That's okay. That's normal. I mean, you're not Superman yet, right? I mean, sorry, Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you were going to bring that up. I mean, you need to enjoy failing too. I know it sounds strange, but you need to enjoy the defeat, you know?
Yeah, I just read something. I'm not surprised. For you to make good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from failure.
Yeah, true. I'll just tell you something you're going to get super excited about. Imagine the look on Sir Alex Ferguson's face, okay, when he lost the game. Do you think he felt bad about himself?
Yeah.
What on his mind was how he was going to win the next game. So he took it on the chin.
Yeah. Like a man. Yeah. And he always had it with his players.
Exactly. So I think we need to look at things that way. So when life kicks you down, there's something to learn from it, rather than feel bad about you.
Whether it is career, whether it is your career and profession, you will keep on making mistakes, but you learn from it.
Exactly. Yeah, and backstabbing and all those things, that's normal. Okay, let's go back to that backstabbing thing you mentioned. I don't know whether it's just me who does that, But at the back of my mind, whenever I'm talking to someone, or if I know someone for many years, at the back of my mind, there's always the possibility that things can go really bad and we won't talk to each other. It is a possibility. So when something happens like that, actually don't react as badly as other people would, because I say could have happened, you know. And maybe that's why I actually deal with breakups and other things you mentioned, I think, better, because I actually kind of expected it a bit.
Okay.
Because let's go back to one of the principles of Buddhism. One of the fundamental truths is that life is suffering. So when something bad happens, I go back to this. Okay, life is suffering. So I always knew that. Actually, Buddhist people, when they practice every day, that's something constantly on their mind. So when it happens, you're actually okay with it.
Okay. Time is flying, Girish. I wanted to discuss a first part with you. There's a lot of anger, I feel, nowadays. People around that you meet. There's a lot of blame and anger towards family members, towards parents, towards younger ones. For how long can you keep on blaming others, and that creates anger within you? For how long can that go on? And how do you deal with this? Do you have anger towards your family and parents, or did you have before and you worked on it?
I think yes. I think each of us has. I won't give like all the details about what happened, you know, because I've told you. Yeah, but what I can tell is you can objectively talk about things that don't work out fine without being too emotional. Yeah. I mean, I've had like really, let's say, hard talks with family members where we sit down. I say, okay, we're going to discuss about something serious, so please don't get upset or angry. I mean, you can, but don't take it badly. It's not personal.
Especially when it comes to family. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Especially when it comes to family, because there are so many emotions and the expectations are so high. Without a doubt, this causes a lot of anger.
Yeah. But once again, Roshan, if you think about it, if you really care about the other person, if you really care and you put the ego aside, you're actually going to listen to the person and go beyond your frustration and emotions or who's right, who's wrong. You would actually listen, and actually you care about the other person. So you make the effort to listen and try to actually come up with a solution no matter what happened. If that's not happening, then there's a big ego fight. You actually don't care about the person that much. You just want the person to be in your life because it feels like it's sort of whole.
Yeah.
But if you really care about the person, you just want the good of the person. And once again, coming back to the breakup thing, if the intent is good, you really care about that friend, the friend wants to move out, it's fine, because all you want is that person to be well. So if the person doesn't need you, that's where it gets hard. Let's say if the person doesn't need the person doesn't need you, you should be fine with it. Because what is true love? You want the person to evolve and be happy. So that's how I dealt with.
Yeah. But especially with family, that causes a lot of arguments, anger, shouting.
Yeah.
Plenty of things happen. What I'm trying to get to you and to ask you is, I might take some time to get around this. Sometimes you've grown up a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And you realize that this is probably not how you should have grown up.
Yeah.
Everyone has their story, right?
Yeah.
So up to what age do you think it is okay to say, okay, this is where I've been brought up? Because it takes time to become mature and to realize, to be able to say these things. I think it takes time to realize what's happening. So when do you really start? Because at the end of the day, you want to lead a better life, a healthier life.
True.
Less stress, less anger brings a better life.
Yeah.
And it will, of course, be related. Of course, your family is the spine. Your work is something. Your friends are all related, all branches of it. So when do you know that, okay, instead of waiting for the situation to degenerate and become even worse, how does it work out then? Is there an ideal scenario?
Yeah. I would say once you start working and you can actually move out of the house and be on your own, that's the time. So till then, you need to kind of deal with it till you can actually move out.
Okay, so one of the advices you would give is to encourage people to move out from their parents.
I know. I'll share something with you. I got a message on my inbox, okay, from one of the people who reads my post, my daily post. So it was a girl who was in high school, and the comment she made was that, I'm waiting to get married so that I can get out of my parents' house. Okay.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, because they don't understand me, and they're always checking my phone, timing me when I'm coming home, and things like that. And then I say, okay, I understand you, but I think that's still wrong. I think the aim should not be to get married to get out of the house, but get a good job, get yourself independent, and then you move out of the house. That's the way I look at it.
Then probably think of settling down.
Yeah. So there are things which are in the minds of young people also, which is not correct, I would say.
Okay, yeah,
Marriage
because I've even heard people say, what, the day I meet my other half, I'll be the happiest person. But you have to be happy yourself to be able to live happily with the partner.
Exactly. It's actually a lot of, how do we say that in a...
You think it's all the Hollywood, Bollywood thing that we've been seeing on
Exactly.
television?
They are watching the wrong stuff, man. They need to watch good stuff. That's a lot of nonsense, actually, Roshan. You need to be happy with... I said that, I think, in the last session with someone else. You need to be really happy with the way you are and accept yourself fully, all the layers of the onion, let's say, if you are an onion. And then that's when you actually attract the right people. So people who actually value you for who you are. If you're making a compromise, doing stuff your parents want you to do, trying to fit in a certain norm, you get frustrated because you're not able to express yourself fully. And you end up attracting the people who don't appreciate you for who you truly are because you never express yourself fully. Now, the one thing I'm going to break to you is I'm not the ideal son. Okay, I'm going to say it live today. The way my parents wanted me to be, like, let's say, 360-degree, the reverse.
Welcome to the club.
Okay? Yeah. So I come from a family background. No disrespect, okay, to anyone, where they're very religious. Yeah, it is what it is. Where they're very religious, the prayers and all that. You have to do things in a certain way. And you know how I am. I don't do things because things have to be done. I need to understand why things need to be done.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, and I don't pray because you have to pray. I've got my own prayer, which is very simple, but it's based on intent, actually. And everything I do is based on intent. And that's how I live. And they are unhappy because, I'm not the way they want me to be. But we do share a good relationship, even if we are completely opposite, because they can see that I'm living a life which is a good life. My intent is good. I'm doing good things. And even if we're completely different, we kind of, can talk to each other, even if we're not, let's say, super close.
All right, Girish. So if I try to resume it, so anger can be defined as the gap between imagination and reality. So ideally, people should set realistic targets and have realistic opinion about themselves, about what they can achieve. So realistic targets, so that you don't have too high expectations.
Yes.
That's one part of it. We covered three parts today. Anger management in terms of how it works with friends, with people you're close to. Again, is all about it comes down to talking. It's very general. It comes down to talking to people. Also at work, how you share your experience, but also with the family. I think I do find a common pattern in all this is the anger that we are causing, that we feel within ourselves, is created none other by ourselves. True. We are the only ones creating this anger within us. Yeah. It's like a fire, right? So we are and the anger is what kills us slowly. It's what will bring us closer to our death. Is that an overstatement?
I think so, because life is as it is. No, I think
because if you're angry, you're stressed, so you're affecting your own health, and everything is registered in this body, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, whether angry or not, how we feel, we are the only ones responsible for how we feel.
Exactly. And life is as it is.
Not to react and not have high expectations. Of course, I'm not saying not have high expectations. At least have genuine, realistic expectations.
Realistic,
so that you can be more firm and positive in your mind, and be less harmful towards yourself. What I'm saying harmful is not physically, but also mentally, in terms of bridging the gap between expectations and reality. I'm trying to summarize what we spoke in 30 minutes.
We cannot went in all different directions.
No, but it's fine, because I think there's more things to speak. And I remember when you came to the NBC and spoke about the Kapalbhati.
Yeah.
And I think this is also a very good way to anger management, because if you have excess
anger, energy,
it will all go in, right?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that the dots are also connecting.
Yeah, everything connects.
Yeah. Even this conversation, it took a bit from what we spoke from the first and second conversation, and it led to this third one. Girish, before closing this interview, I wouldn't say final words, but anything you would like to add, please?
I would just say that the more you become aware of yourself, how you're feeling, and be completely honest about how you're feeling, and be very objective about it. Don't overreact, just observe yourself. The more you understand yourself, then you can be very objective about what you need to do, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And once you really understand your strength and you focus on your strength, you keep getting better at your strength. And eventually your life becomes what it should be, where it's focused on your strength. And the more you strengthen your own strength, you end up becoming the best version of yourself. And this is basically what I've been doing, I'm good at a few things and I go full into them.
To identify your strength. There are also patterns in your weaknesses, so that okay, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. Because if you don't listen, or you're not attentive to what's happening, it will keep on happening anyways.
Exactly. That's why you need to spot. Like, I know exactly what I'm good at. I'm very good at maths, for example. That's why I do what I do professionally. I'm very good at listening to people and finding solutions, let's say. And I'm bad at certain things also.
Well, we all have.
So I know. Yeah, I know very well what I'm bad at, and I do more of the things I'm good at, so that I end up living a life which is more abundant, let's say.
Oh, fantastic. They say that if you focus on your strength, eventually your weaknesses also are taken care of, because you will learn new things. Even through your strength, you will learn new skills that will lessen your weaknesses. This is all about how you
Exactly.
learn.
I mean, imperfection is what makes things perfect, you know? Like look at the Buddha, okay? He told people to sit the full lotus position, have your back straight and all that. But when he started to become old, he had back pain, he had a slip disc, and at that time they couldn't really fix it. He couldn't sit the way Buddha should sit, but he sat with his imperfections.
Okay.
So in life also, we can't be perfect. We try to become the best version of ourselves. That's like the duty you need to have. Let's say you should try to be the best version of yourself. Otherwise, you lose direction. And that's all we can do. Try to be more of ourselves, not someone else, and we're going to be fine.
Well, I think I will ponder and keep repeating those two last sentences you just said in my mind as a reminder.
Yeah. Because think about something, Roshan, last line. You can only become average at your weaknesses.
Okay.
But at your strength, you won't be average. You're going to be super good. So why spend time trying to make your weakness become okay? Spend time going full flow on your strength. It's like Man United. The team is supposed to attack and score goals. You can't have a Man United side which plays defensive. Come on.
Yeah, it's not.
You see, your identity stays your identity.
I'm gonna get angry because everyone sees it except the coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways. Girish, thank you very much for your insight. Thank you for taking time to share your knowledge. As usual, it has been very interesting to hear what you have to share. Thank you for answering to my questions. But a quick word to anyone who's going to be watching this in the future. If you have any questions, any queries, please feel free to ask or send a message to Girish or to myself with regards to this episode or any previous episode. And also, if you have any topic that is really bothering you and you would like to be discussed, please feel free to come forward. Just drop a message. And if you have some time, we always welcome feedback to try to improve the content of what is being discussed.
Yeah.
On this note, Girish, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. And
thanks a lot, Roshan.
All the very best.
Bye-bye.